Hello, I'm Gabriel Matney, and I'm going to tell you about the Thai lesson study model. Back in November of 2019, Miranda Fox and I went to Thailand to learn more about their lesson study model, and we visited with professors and teachers and students in and around Khon Kaen, Thailand. So this is a picture of us at the university with one of our Thai friends, and it was a really wonderful time of year. It was in our winter time, but there in Thailand it was balmy 88 degrees. So if you ever want to go check out lesson study in Thailand, I highly recommend December and January. So the weekly cycle is the Thailand model. They also have what appears to be a reduced number of units in the cycle. They specifically talk about planning, doing, and seeing, but actually the planning is also the research study. So it's the same lesson study idea as everywhere else in the world, but they boil it down to 3 key steps: plan, do, see. And this was one of the ideas of Maitri Imprasith, as he studied in Japan for more than a decade of his life at the universities there and got degrees from Tsukuba University. And so he had really a vision for Thailand, and one of his visions was to help teachers who didn't know about lesson study to make sense of it and apply it in class. And so Plan, Do, See comes from his ideas. In the weekly cycle in Thailand, they plan all lessons for the week. And so think about it as, you have 5 days you're going to teach. You plan all those lessons together as a unit, as a weekly unit, and that's why it's called the weekly cycle. And then the next week comes and they actually teach those lessons and observe those lessons. The way the observations happen, though, depends on the school. So, for example, some schools have the whole team observe one teaching session of the lesson every day, even though it may be taught in 2 or 3 sessions. They'll observe one every day. And other schools' observations may be that small subsets of the bigger team are able to go and observe lessons on different days. And so it just depends on the needs of the school and the structure of the scheduling, what they actually do. And then on Fridays, after the week is done, they reflect on all the lessons as a unit instead of a single lesson reflection. They have this large reflection, and oftentimes administrators will come and lead those reflection sessions as well, so that they have good understandings about what's happening and can listen to the teachers about the student learning and what they're seeing through the lesson study and what they're researching. So some other details are that administrators are encouraged to take part in the reflection, as I mentioned, and also have a tendency to drop in and be partaking in the observation of some of the lessons. The lesson study teams often involve every teacher for the content, plus a few others from other content areas. It's very heavy in math. The math teachers tend to do this a lot. Only 1 cycle per lesson study. So if you think about, you have a weekly cycle, and some of the other parts of this section that we've been talking about, there's a teach and then revise it, and then teach it again and revise it model. And the lesson study model in Thailand doesn't use that revise, teach again model. What they do is they plan it and they teach it and they see how it went and they reflect on it, and then they plan the next week. So their lesson studies are informing the next unit of instruction rather than revisiting and revising the single lesson. And of course, also they're looking at a week at a time, and that's another variation. So as you can see, lesson study is done in many ways, and we've just presented 3 of them in this model. What we're going to do now is talk about another thing called open class. Now, this doesn't just happen in Thailand, but it does happen in Thailand quite often, so I wanted to mention it here. An open class demonstration lesson is when a lesson study team has worked on a lesson and they feel like the lesson has broader value, and they may want people to come in and talk about the lesson with them to critique the lesson, give other ideas and that perspective. In that case, they have an open class demonstration lesson. The schools that do lesson study with Konkan University in Thailand typically do this once a semester. You'll see one open class demonstration lesson a semester. And so in the open class, it's not just the lesson study team that comes and observes, but literally everybody. And so I've posted a picture here of an open class. I have permission to post here these pictures. I was invited to come witness this open class myself, and Miranda and I were able to see this. And you can see there's many teachers, actually many people studying education and thinking about this lesson. The students are seated, but everyone else standing is actually a teacher who is observing the demonstration lesson. And the reason why they're teachers, but there's only one person teaching, and she's all the way in the back in like a brightly colored coral dress. You can just kind of barely see her there. Everyone else is not talking to the students. They're just listening in as the students think about the particular topic of the day. So these things, again, don't happen every day, and they do happen as part of a project. And as you can see here in this last picture, this is everybody who was attending that, and that is much too large for a lesson study team. But for a demonstration lesson, everybody can come, they can think about the lesson, they can give feedback and thoughts and that kind of thing. And they do, and it's a really wonderful event that kind of showcases the best of teaching, not in the best in the sense that what we're demonstrating is going to be perfect or that it's going to be the best lesson you ever saw, but it's the best in the sense that a lot of people are able to get together and have a real authentic conversation about what students learned from the lesson and how we can improve our teaching, not just individually, but as a professional collective.